Hello, I'm Citrus, and we're changing gears for the next few videos to look at something that isn't Gunpla. But before you click away, I have an announcement to make, so please stick around. This is the figurized Standard Ultraman B-Type from 2011 manga series Ultraman Begins, which is now, confusingly, just called Ultraman. I read the first volume in one sitting in 2015, when Viz Media started localizing the series, and I immediately put it down. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the action and artwork, but I knew it was going to be a slippery slope, so I stopped myself before I went too far. Fast forward to 2019, trailers for the anime adaptation start floating around until the global simulcast on April 1st. It took me a while to find the time, but again, I watched the whole first season in one night. There's a lot I can say about the show, and if you care to hear my thoughts, maybe I can put something together. But the short of it is, I loved it. I loved it so much that I immediately hopped on Mandrake and snatched up a first edition printing of this kit. Or at least that's what I thought I bought. You can see here on the box where a big sticker used to be, which told you this was a first edition kit that came with a fold-out poster. Of course, with the sticker missing, the poster was missing too. Mandrake apologized for the mistake and gave me a small refund, so the kit ended up being a little cheaper than I expected. But the box price is pretty scary. 4,500 yen. And you can see the box is basically the same size as a beefier high grade. I expected this to be much cheaper than the action figure, but the Ultra Act Ultraman is only 300 yen more. So let's open it up and see if I spent my money wisely or made a big mistake. Now, given the size of the box, I don't think we can be that surprised that there isn't a lot of plastic in here. That said, what we do get looks really nice. We have 2 plates of shiny red glossy plastic, and we have 2 plates of this really nice satin silver plastic. The foil sticker sheet is a little disappointing, but we can see the parts themselves look pretty nice. The casting quality is pretty good, and there's also a decent level of detail in all of the parts. The biggest part of the price tag is probably the LED unit. I haven't seen this design before, so I'm pretty excited to find out how well it works. It uses the same LR41 batteries as Bandai's other small LED units. Here's the complete Ultraman spinning around. There's some aspects of this kit that don't make it very easy to film a build video of this, so you just have to bear with me, but I will go over as many of the details as I possibly can. And for scale, here it is next to a high-grade Gundam, which is 1/144 scale, and a Figma. Unfortunately, I don't have a Figuarts Ultraman to make the comparison, but I do have some pictures that I can show you as we go along. One area where the action figure excels is the shoulders. So on the model kit here, you can see the arm swivel is kind of ugly with that split right there. The silver piece on the shoulder is a sticker, and it has to go over a very curvy surface, so it's very easy to crease the sticker as you are applying it, as I have kind of done here. If you want to paint it, that's fine, but the red plastic is very glossy while the silver is satin, so if you want to preserve any of the coating, you'll have to do some very careful masking all the same. The action figure also has a double bend at the elbow, whereas this only has a single bend, but I much prefer the look of this elbow when it's bent, because there's none of that weird contorting joint slipping out of the arm sort of thing going on. The red detail here is a sticker on the model kit, but it doesn't look too bad properly applied. All of the cuff detail on the arm are stickers as well, and you can see there's some very tiny bits that have to wrap around different edges, but I think it doesn't look too bad. Also, I haven't had any problems with the stickers peeling up on mine yet, and the stickers have been applied for a few days now. The included marking seals are very, very small. You can just make them out there, and I think they look okay. The satin finish of the silver kind of hides the edges a little bit, so that in most lighting conditions you wouldn't notice them. The hands, of course, are cast in just gray plastic, so if you want the knuckles to look silver, you'll have to paint that in yourself. Not too very hard to do at all, and I think it looks pretty good. Now, one upside compared to this with the action figure is that if you're doing your own painting, the work is as neat as you can make it, whereas if you buy the action figure, if you have a paint error on the hands, you'll have to basically live with that. Down the center trunk, not a lot of mobility here at all. There is a ball joint at the bottom in here, but you can see there's not much motion you can do side to side in any direction. The neck can move up and down pretty okay. But you got to be careful because the entire sort of collar piece area is designed to come off for replacing the LED unit. The head can only rotate sideways, no rolling left or right, because it's just a straight peg up there that has a light piping in it. And down the leg, we have some movement out this way, not too far, unfortunately, but pretty good range forwards and backwards. Have a double joint at the knee, which has a pretty decent bend there. This guard on the front can come up like so. Lets the foot bend just a bit more. And a decent amount of roll side to side. Since I haven't messed with the SH Figuarts Ultraman, I can't tell you if the action figure has more or less articulation in the legs, but from my experience with other Figuarts in the past, I would assume that the action figure is slightly more flexible. The little details here on the sides of the ankles, these are stickers as well, but just like the bits on the arms, they have been holding pretty well. So far, this has been more work to enjoy than the action figure, considering that you have to put together the whole thing before you can do anything with it. And it also doesn't look quite as good, considering that the action figure is more polished in the joint areas. But here's where we get into what sets this apart from the action figure. To put the LED unit inside, we have to disassemble basically the whole chest, but fortunately comes apart in basically 4 pieces. You have the head assembly, this plate on the back, and then the back half of the torso. Once you put the LED unit inside, you can sandwich it all up. The back plate comes off fairly easily for you to access the LED switch. The LEDs have 4 modes in 2 colors. The first 2 modes are automatically timed, so the light will switch off by itself after 3 minutes. And the other 2 modes are permanently on, so they'll stay on until you turn them off. You can switch between the modes by pushing the button once, and if you hold the button down for 3 seconds, it'll turn off from any mode. Alright, let's see how the LEDs look. There's a really nice breathing effect when the chest light comes on. It might look a little bit flickery on the camera, and that's because of the frame rate differences between the camera capturing the video and the LED switching itself on and off. But in person, it's a very gradual, smooth effect. Very, very bright. And when the lights are fully on, there's no flicker at all. So this is a very high quality LED unit. I think it would have been really cool if the LEDs came with a breathing mode for the chest light. The chip is definitely capable of it, but it's just not in the programming. Aside from the LEDs, this kit comes with a plethora of accessories, the least exciting of which I think is the gun. Despite being really detailed, the whole thing still looks kind of like a nondescript rectangle, so it's kind of hard to get any really exciting poses out of this. Now the melee accessories, on the other hand, are much more exciting. So these recreate all of the specium ray attacks that Shinjiro does in the manga and in the anime. They look really dynamic, and the included base really helps in the posing department. If you're curious, yes, the Figurized standard base is the exact same size as the Action Base 4-5 base. The big holes don't really line up, but you can see the smaller 3mm holes are all in exactly the same positions, as well as the notches on the sides for you to tessellate them together. So it's really easy to display this with your other action bases. Okay, so in the end, is this a better value than the action figures? For me personally, it definitely is, because I enjoy putting together things, so being able to assemble this myself and see it all come together is a much more pleasant experience than just taking something out of a box and playing with it. The next point is entirely preference, but I also think the proportions of the model kit are much better. So the first Figuarts Ultraman is, in my opinion, a little bit too slim compared to the artwork in the manga, and the new one that they just announced, which is kind of like an animation version or something, is way too chunky. So the model kit, for me, strikes a happy balance between those two extremes. And in the end, with all of the special coatings that Bandai applied to the model kit, even without a top coat, this still looks really good. It really helps if you, of course, like Ultraman, but if you don't, then you can probably give this one a pass. The actual construction of the kit isn't really that interesting, so if you're not really into the high-grade level of detail when it comes to assembly, then this kit will not impress. On the other hand, if you're okay with simpler construction that results in a really nice looking model kit, then definitely give this one a try. Alright, if you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate it. Some of you may know that in the Figure-Ice Standard Ultraman series, there are two other model kits that have been released so far, the 7.2 and Ultraman Ace. I have both of them coming on the way thanks to Newtype HQ. They're my new sponsor, and if some of you have been following the channel for a while, you may know that I have had sponsors before and it never really worked out terribly well. Now, I do have a pretty good feeling about this one. So first of all, there is a coupon code CITRUS, which you can use right now to save 10% on everything at Newtype HQ. And another thing is they host a weekend sale every week of the year. So if you sign up for their newsletter, you'll get an email every Thursday that has a list of model kits that are further discounted from their normal prices, usually by 10 to 15%. And you can combine those sale prices with the coupon code CITRUS to save an additional 10%. The selection changes every week, and there's a really nice mix of popular stuff, niche stuff, obscure stuff, so there's new stuff to check out all the time. On top of this, they also offer free domestic shipping on all orders over $150. So when you add it up with the weekend sales and the coupon code, I think Newtype HQ is probably one of the best bargains around when it comes to shopping for Gunpla and your modeling supply needs. This is the first video that I'm making with Newtype HQ, and I hope it goes swimmingly from here on out. Please let me know what your experience is like shopping with Newtype HQ, and as long as it works out well for me, for them, and for all of you especially, then we'll keep this going. So here's to many more videos to come. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.